Today we have 77 special random facts that will blow your mind. The Etruscan shrew has the smallest brain of any known mammal. Meanwhile, the sperm whale carries the largest, weighing up to 9 kilograms or 20 pounds, a brain 4,500 times heavier than the shrew's. Every spider leg is a 7-part marvel. From body to tip, the segments are coxa, trochanter, femur, patella, tibia, metatarsus, and tarsus. The tarsus sports specialized claws. Web weavers typically have 3 for silk handling, while hunters make do with 2 for better traction. The Rubik's Cube isn't just a toy, it's the best-selling puzzle in history with over 450 million units sold since 1974. Lycopene, the powerhouse red pigment in plants, is a proven antioxidant fighting heart disease and cancers like prostate and breast cancer. While tomatoes are packed with it, not all varieties are equal. Surprise! Yellow tomatoes win. Meet the fossa, Madagascar's elusive apex predator and the island's largest carnivore. This unique mammal even has a name to match its weirdness. Its genus Cryptoprocta comes from Greek for hidden anus, thanks to a special anal pouch, which is an unusual trait. Greece has over 6,000 islands, yet only 227 are inhabited. New Zealand is the penguin capital of the world, hosting more species than any other country. Algae farms are climate change's unsung heroes. Certain species sequester 140 tons of CO2 per hectare annually. That's 5 times more than forests. In the experiment conducted for the New York Times, researchers discovered that readers were more likely to agree with an argument when it was presented in Baskerville, compared to other fonts including, yes, really, Comic Sans. Hedgehogs have 5,000 to 7,000 hollow quills that are actually modified hairs made of keratin. Each spine lasts about 12-18 months before shedding, with new ones growing in their place. Hedgehogs call Europe, Asia, and Africa home. You won't find them in the wild in Australia or the Americas. However, several species have been introduced to New Zealand, where they've settled in as non-native residents and they're now considered invasive in some areas. Lemon sharks grow to about 3 meters or 10 feet on average, with females edging out males in size, though they weigh roughly the same. This subtle sexual dimorphism makes females the slightly bigger predators in their coastal habitats. Iran dominates the global pistachio game, producing 50% of the world's supply. California grows 99% of U.S. pistachios, but climate change is cracking its dominance. These drought-tolerant nuts need chilly winters to bloom properly. Now, rising temperatures and vanishing Central Valley fogs making it increasingly difficult for farmers to maintain their crops. Parsley root packs a surprising punch. It contains 2 psychoactive compounds, apiol and myristicin. These naturally occurring chemicals can have mild mind-altering effects. Myristicin is also found in nutmeg, famous for its very high-dose psychoactive properties. The Atacama Desert is an astronomer's dream. Bone-dry air, crystal-clear skies, and zero light pollution. Perched at high altitude with barely a cloud in sight, it's one of the best spots on Earth to gaze into the cosmos. Consider the spur-winged goose nature's do not eat sign. This sub-Saharan African bird packs toxic flesh, a dangerous byproduct of its blister beetle diet. When consumed, the beetle's cantharidin poison lingers in the goose's tissues. One bite could mean violent illness or worse. Olives, the iconic drupes of the Olea europaea tree, are nature's tiny oil factories, botanically classified as stone fruits, like peaches and cherries. Notably, olive oil makes up a significant portion of their weight, ranging from 14 to 40%. Olive trees play the long game. They won't give their first full harvest until age 8 to 10, then settle into a biennial rhythm of boom crops. But patience pays off. These living legends thrive for 800 years with prime fruiting lasting 2 to 3 centuries. True extra virgin olive oil is made from ripe black olives in their prime. It must come from the first cold pressing with no heat or harsh extraction methods. The Asian elephant, Elephas maximus, is the last surviving species of its genus. These giants roam the forests and grasslands of Southeast Asia and the Indian subcontinent, making them the continent's biggest land animals. Scientists have cataloged nearly 50,000 spider species, but don't expect a tidy family tree. Spider classification has been in flux since 1900, with over 20 competing systems proposed. As new species emerge and DNA reshapes our understanding, arachnologists are still untangling this web of diversity. Brazil holds a unique double crown in geography. It's the world's longest country, stretching farther than the distance from New York to Los Angeles. It's also the only nation sliced by both the equator and Tropic of Capricorn. And it's also the second country with the most endemic species after Indonesia. Curiously, around 15 to 20% of global endemics are packed into just 5% of Earth's land. Certain tree species, such as redwoods and sequoias, have evolved remarkable fire-resistant adaptations. As these trees mature, their bark thickens, sometimes reaching up to 1 foot or 30 centimeters, forming a robust protective shield against environmental threats. This bark contains tannins, natural compounds that confer resistance to both fire and fungal infections, enabling these giants to withstand conditions that would devastate less hardy species. Shakespeare had a clear favorite when it came to dispatching his characters: the blade. A grim tally reveals that over half of all onstage deaths in his plays, 54 out of 100, are stabbings. Galapagos giant tortoises reign as the largest tortoises on Earth, with some weighing up to 550 pounds or 250 kilograms, rivaling a brown bear in mass. Their colossal size isn't just for show, it lets them stockpile water and fat, turning them into nature's ultimate survivalists during droughts. The bonobo owes its name to a bureaucratic blunder. When researchers in the 1920s first cataloged these apes, a crate mislabeled Bolobo, a Congolese riverside town, arrived in Europe as bonobo, and the typo stuck. Your brain is in a perpetual state of self-cannibalism, but it's for a good cause. Through a process called phagocytosis, literally cell eating, specialized cleaners called microglia engulf and digest dead cells, toxic proteins, and debris. While polar bears are icons of the entire Arctic region, they're especially prevalent in Canada. In fact, a significant majority, somewhere between 60 and 80%, of the world's polar bears live along Canada's icy coasts and islands, even though they can also be found in Greenland, Norway, Russia, and Alaska. Armadillos are surprisingly adept swimmers. Instead of needing a flotation device, they create their own by swallowing air to become buoyant. And remarkably, they can hold their breath for 6 minutes or more, which helps them navigate through water. Leeches are remarkably adaptable creatures, known as eurytopic animals. This means they can thrive in a wide variety of environments, tolerating different temperatures and water conditions. They also lack a dedicated respiratory system, instead absorbing oxygen directly through their entire body surface. Portugal's port wine isn't just famous, it's legally exclusive. This fortified ruby red nectar can only be labeled port if it's made in the Douro Valley's sun-baked terraces and aged in Vila Nova de Gaia's cellars. Born from steep schist slopes and precise blends of native grapes like Touriga Nacional, each bottle carries 300 years of winemaking tradition. Bolivia's Salar de Uyuni isn't just the world's largest salt flat, it's Earth's most surreal mirror, reflecting clouds with perfect symmetry. Beneath the crust lies 70% of the planet's lithium reserves. Hidden in some brains lies a silent time bomb, an arteriovenous malformation, AVM, a snarled knot of blood vessels bypassing vital tissue. Most never know they have one until a routine scan spots it, or it ruptures. With no warning, an AVM can unleash sudden bleeding, risking stroke, paralysis, or death in moments. And a bonus fact, AVMs cause 2% of strokes in young adults. Turkey doesn't just grow hazelnuts, it dominates the global supply, producing around 70% of the world's crop. North Korea uses a dual calendar system, where the year Juche appears alongside Gregorian dates. This count begins in 1912, the birth year of eternal President Kim Il-sung, making it the world's only nation to base its calendar on a leader's lifespan. Sunflowers are nature's radiation sponges. Their deep roots hyperaccumulate toxic metals, cesium-137, strontium-90 from soil, storing them in stems and leaves. After Chernobyl and Fukushima, fields of sunflowers reduced radiation by 95% in some areas. But don't confuse absorption with elimination. The plants become radioactive waste and must be safely disposed of. Whales master the ultimate power nap. They sleep while swimming in slow, deliberate circles. By shutting down half their brain at a time, unihemispheric sleep, they maintain motion to surface for air, all while dozing for 7 to 15 minutes at a stretch. Your feet packs 52 of the body's 206 bones. That's 25% of your skeleton. Also forms 33 joints per foot, more than any other body part. Europe's wolves are staging a remarkable comeback. Populations surged 60% in a decade, 2012 to 2022, now topping 20,000. The Pantanal in Brazil isn't just big, it's record-breaking big. This South American wonder holds 2 global titles: the largest tropical wetland and the largest seasonally flooded grasslands on Earth. When the rains come, it's 195,000 square kilometers or 75,000 square miles transform into a wildlife paradise. Heat a magnet enough, and its atomic power crumbles. Every magnetic material has a Curie temperature, a fiery tipping point where atomic chaos overpowers orderly magnetism. Crowning Vatican City, St. Peter's Basilica reigns as the world's largest church. A 15,160 square meters or 163,181 square feet, masterpiece of Renaissance splendor. Russia's boreal forest, the taiga, is Earth's largest forest empire, blanketing 12 million square kilometers or 4.6 million square miles across Siberia. This vast green lung stores more carbon than all tropical rainforests combined, its spruce and pine standing sentry over frozen peatlands. Bigger than the Amazon, it's a silent climate warrior, and home to snow leopards, brown bears, and nomadic reindeer herders. The equator crosses 13 nations and 3 continents. From the Amazon to the Indian Ocean, it stitches through Ecuador, Colombia, Brazil, São Tomé and Príncipe, Gabon, Republic of the Congo, Democratic Republic of the Congo, Uganda, Kenya, Somalia, Maldives, Indonesia, and Kiribati. That fleeting urge to swerve into traffic or step off a cliff edge has a name: L'appel du vide, call of the void. Far from a death wish, it's your brain's morbid safety drill, a burst of intrusive thoughts that highlights danger so you'll cling tighter to life. Greenland doesn't just have ice, it defines ice. This Arctic giant locks up 2.9 million cubic kilometers of frozen fresh water, covering 80% of its landmass. Also, Greenland walks a unique tightrope. It's the world's largest autonomous territory, self-governing yet still under Denmark's crown. Argentina wears the crown as the largest Spanish-speaking country by landmass, sprawling over 2.78 million square kilometers, or 1.07 million square miles, bigger than Mexico, Spain, and Colombia combined. The Czech Republic has been the undisputed world champion of beer drinking for 29 years straight, with locals downing 184 liters or 48.6 gallons per person annually. Thailand stands alone in Southeast Asia as the only nation never colonized by Europeans. The Netherlands has 26% of its land sits below sea level, protected by a 22,000 kilometers or 13,670-mile network of dikes, dunes, and pumps. Saudi Arabia, home to the Rub al Khali, Earth's largest sand desert, imports sand. Why? Desert sand grains, polished by wind into perfectly smooth spheres, are useless for construction. Asia isn't just populous, it's a demographic titan. With 4.7 billion people, it outnumbers all other continents combined. Italy wears the UNESCO crown with a record 58 World Heritage Sites, more than any nation on Earth. India holds the title of the world's largest milk producer, accounting for roughly 22% of the global milk supply. Iceland is one of the few places on Earth with 0 native ant species. Japan reigns as the world's longevity champion, with an average life expectancy of 84.3 years. Ostriches can reach speeds of up to 70 kilometers per hour or 43 miles per hour in short bursts, and sustain speeds of around 50 kilometers per hour, 31 miles per hour for longer durations. Antarctica is Earth's ultimate ice vault, locking away 90% of the planet's ice. India dominates as the vegetarian capital of the world, with 38% of its population. Meanwhile, Russia sits at the opposite end, with less than 1% of its population abstaining from meat. Of Earth's 4,000-plus snake species, only 10% pack venom potent enough to seriously harm humans, about 400 species. Fennec foxes' comically large ears, 15 centimeters or 6 inches long, half their head height, are multifunctional tools, allowing them to hear the faintest sounds of prey beneath the sand, dissipate heat, and communicate effectively with their fellow foxes. Bonus fact, they are the smallest fox and have the biggest ears relative to body size of any conid. Giant anteaters wield a biological marvel, a 2-foot-long or 60 centimeters tongue, the longest of any mammal relative to body size. This sticky whip-like tool flicks 150 times per minute, probing deep into termite mounds to slurp up 35,000 insects daily. A full fridge is an energy-efficient fridge. Here's why. When you open the door, empty space lets cold air spill out like water from a bucket, forcing the appliance to work harder to cool down replacement air. But a well-stocked fridge acts like a thermal battery. The mass of chilled food and drinks retains cold better, reducing energy waste. Just don't overpack. Airflow still matters. The human brain contains approximately 100 billion neurons, forming an extraordinarily complex network. Remarkably, the majority, between 55 and 70 billion, are located in the cerebellum, which plays a crucial role in motor control and coordination. In contrast, the cerebral cortex, responsible for higher cognitive functions such as reasoning and perception, consists of a comparatively modest 14 to 16 billion neurons. While human bodies vary widely, women generally exhibit smaller physical dimensions than men, including tongue size. Antarctica holds a unique ecological distinction. It's the only continent without native grasslands. Earth isn't just a planet. It's a thriving oasis of life, the only one we know of in the universe. Scientists estimate a mind-blowing 8.7 million species call it home, but we've only identified around 1.9 million so far. That includes around 5,500 mammals, 11,000 birds, 31,100 fish, and a whopping 1.36 million invertebrates, plus another 400,000 plants and fungi working behind the scenes. And with new species discovered every year, our planet's biodiversity keeps surprising us. Want to test your brain power? Head to my community tab for a daily quiz that'll challenge everything you know. Use the QR code or tap on the description below to jump right in. Let's see how smart you really are. Thanks for watching. If these facts blew your mind, imagine what else we've got in store for you. So don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell to stay updated with more fascinating content.